So, hey there, lovely souls. Hope you're doing well. I wanted to share what's happening currently for self, for the collective, and also what I'm seeing through experiences within clinic as well. And we are in the time of kidneys, and understanding the kidneys more is about our chi energy. It's our source of energy that has us survive. The kidneys are the first things that form when we're an embryo. So they are our life force. And when these are blocked, this is when we'll experience overwhelm, anxiety, fear, burnout, fatigue, infertility, heart problems. Everything will comes back to our kidneys, and with them we've inherited our ancestors. So I see trauma goes through the feminine line, and we have a tendency to, what's the wording here, really to kind of, wow, I've just had a real total block, which is really interesting. So I'm assuming that's not where I'm going. So I'm going to get back on track. Okay, so it is, our kidneys is our life force. Our kidneys are our chi. They are our spirit, our soul entwined as one. And when we hold patterns of fear, which is where the kidney sits, it's the base chakra, it's the adrenals, it's our fear, survival, fight, flight part of us. When they're heavily activated, we are blocking our self. We are blocking our truth of who we really are and the pure spirit of what we can be, our true potential. And we are going through huge shifts individually, collectively, and as humanity to move out of our survival patterns and to shift into our thriving. But the survival is so ingrained in us. Fear is ingrained. We just need a few fear responses and it's there as a pattern. So it may even, it's in our blood, it's in our bones, it's in our kidneys. So we are set up to survive, but we're here and we're here more than that. We're here for joy. And so everything that is coming up for us now is to show us what no longer serves us, that no longer is an alignment to our joy. But we can get so heavily triggered that we just stay in that triggered, in that emotional state of fear, of separation. And we are all mirrors to one another. And so people will mirror back to us what we're feeling. And we're seeing on the outside world just so much hate and division and separation. And ultimately that is the illusion, the separation. When you think of us, how we are born, how we are here, we have a flash of light when we are created within that embryo. When the sperm is fertilized, there's a flash of light. There's a lot to do with zinc, supposedly, but there's a flash of light. And when a cell dies, there's a flash of light. Within every single cell of our body is light. Water carries light. We're 70% water. Our microbiome, that is the fundamental force of energy, carries light. So we are all light. We are all fragments and reflections of that light. So we're not separate. We are actually all from the same source. And the illusion is the fear and the separation. And when we see acts of fear and hate, we can go many ways. So we can match it and literally respond back in fear. If it's an overpowering way, then we can fall into victim energy and feel hopeless and helpless, which then creates an overwhelm in our bodies, and more into the freeze mode of our nervous system, which will just contract, and then anything that's trying to move through will just overwhelm you. And the practice that I have been using today and for myself is about opening up your heart. Your heart is this container that can allow, say, like these floods, this water to move through, these emotions to move through. But whereas if the heart is tight, it just constricts and nothing can move through, which will create pressure, which will create stress, which will create again, like I say, overwhelm, brain fog. It's so much thing can come from it when we're blocked. So, and what has come through for me in my own meditation practice, I have seen moments where I am faced with Isis, the goddess Isis of Egyptians, and she's hugely powerful, she's beautiful, and instantly I would see myself opposite and then would just shrink, thinking I'm not worthy, I am not equal. And the messaging that was coming through is that you are equal, and you are equal to this power, because what you see is in me, is in you. We are the same. And which for me is hugely triggering in a way of like, I'm not equal, I'm not good enough. That's my fear, that's my pattern that I carry. I'm not good enough. Nothing that I will do will be enough. And or equally, how dare you think yourself as something as great as that? That was never one, you know. How dare you be so or arrogant to think you possibly are equal to this beautiful, this power. And through the meditation, I could witness myself being on the floor and being kicked, like, I don't know, with like it sounds terrible and probably triggering, but like a bishop or somebody that was seen as somebody of power kicking me and keeping me down, and me humbly running away, going, oh my God, okay, like a peasant would be, like thrown something and kicked and moved out the way. How dare you? And the words said to me were, no longer accept those words as your truth. So many times we have listened to somebody else's words and we have taken that on as our truth. Their patterns, the way they've treated us, we've taken that on as our truth. And that's the level of where we're at. Whereas those words and those actions that were spoken of fear were fear. They are not, that is not an act of love. And that isn't the truth. The truth is love, the truth is joy, the truth is peace. This is what we really hear, but not many express in that way because of fear. And this is what we're having to move through and break those patterns. Because when the kidney energy is vibrant, it's you have this whole health, you have this vitality, you have the energy to put into things that you want to create in this world, which is interesting because we're coming into spring. Well, we will be coming into spring. So this is all about the time of letting go what no longer serves you, that serves your joy, so you can spring into life with the energy that you want to create, the things that you want to bring to fruition and into abundance. And the words that came through me today in clinic, which made me go, ooh, like literally as I was saying it and channeling it, were, no longer accept the words as your truth. No longer accept others' words as your truth. And what then came through was, no longer accept others' actions as your experiences. And I was like, wow. However people have acted, however people have said, I don't accept that as my experience. I don't accept that as my truth. That is not happening. That does not define me. It's like, wow. Now that's power. That is sovereignty. And this is all about returning to our power, our inner sovereignty. Power has been misled as something that you take over somebody. That's fear. And it only happens when we allow it to happen. When we believe that we are a victim and that we're helpless and we're hopeless, that's only when it happens that we give that fear the power to do what it does to us. If we claim back our power and our sovereignty and say, no, that is not continuing, that is not accepting. And in fact, when you take it one step further with quantum physics, something can only exist if you observe it. So imagine bringing an emotional, which is the emotions is the energy emotion. This is power. The energy, our emotions are the most powerful thing. And when we become emotionally intelligent, we are harnessing our power. Okay, when we become aware and conscious of our thoughts and our actions and how we choose to move forward, that's when we're in our superpower. That's when we're in our sovereignty. So it's really about claiming back your power and your kidneys. It feels like that is the essence of that. It's when we have disempowered ourselves, and it's very easy to respond to situations that are fear, or we see in the big wide world that's fear and separation, and we can then equally think we're better than thou. We have a judgment. We all have judgments, let's face it. We all have prejudice, we all have judgments. And we can look at it and go, oh my God, they're just total nimwits. Or we could go, what can we do about it because of these positions of power? If we observe it and go, okay, I can see it for what it is, and that's fear. And I'm not choosing to reflect that fear back, whether it's in from a victim mode, so we see it as a perpetrator, so we become the victim. I choose not to be in that cycle. I can see it for what it is, but I do not give it my energy, because it needs your energy to exist and to thrive. So by you discerning what you put your energy into, what you give your mental thoughts and emotions and energy to, will discern and define whether something exists or not. And the less we give our energy away to people, to situations, to beliefs, to words, the more empowered that we become inside. So I hope that becomes a message for you and it lands for you as and when it's needed. And again, I'm going to read these words again. So, no longer, okay, let's put this into an affirmation. This would be better. So hands on heart, let's let these words come into the fabric of your mind and your body. I no longer accept the words of others as my truth. I no longer accept others' actions as my experience. I'm going to say that again because I love it. I no longer accept others' words as my truth. I no longer accept others' actions as my experience. Take care.